going to give a little update on Mr. Warrington and Reece, who fights the night before our show.
Yeah, obviously Josh fought for the world title last Saturday at Wembley on a great card and just fell a bit short, which was fair play. You know, when I was actually scoring the cards up to 6 and I couldn't really split the first round, so I'll give it Kakatcha. Josh winning the second, Josh winning the third, losing the fourth and fifth and winning the sixth. So, you know, being favourable to Kakatcha on the first round, which could have given to Josh, I had it 3-3. And I turned out to Carl Frampton asking him how he was scoring it after the six, and he said he wasn't scoring it, but the commentator next to him had it 4-2, so I just presumed it's for Josh. He didn't know it's 4-2 for Kakatcha, and then his own guy, I believe, had it 5-1. So I was just thinking, Christ, am I watching the wrong fight? So I stopped looking at it, but I just presumed it was a close fight and could have gone anyway.
Well, you know, the home viewers, you know, the Sky do a thing where you can vote along with it, so, you know, score the card.
Yeah.
And they had Josh winning by a round.
Yeah, I mean,
it was close, man.
Someone texted Reece Mould, who was next to me, and said that Sky had it even. Whoever wins the last round wins it.
And so Josh did.
You could say Josh had won that round, and I think, you know, without sour grapes or anything, you know, the tactics obviously to get inside him and work him over, which I knew he hurt him to the body in 1 and 2, and Anthony's said that since, and Josh was doing all right, and he was fighting then, but he obviously knew he was getting hurt there and just held, and I just thought the breaks in the fight was probably what made the judges give the decisions away from Josh, because he wasn't allowed to work. But listen, no complaints. It was a 50-50 fight. Anyone could have won. Just wasn't happy with the wide scorecards, but that's happened. And you know, just going on about Josh, obviously he's lost his last 3, and everyone's making a big deal about it. And you know, I just feel so sorry for him, because I think he could have been a legend of British boxing. I mean, obviously he's always going to be up there, but I'm talking about he could have been in the top 5-10 British boxer ever, because he's finished with, not finished because he's not made his decision, but at the moment 36 fights, won 31, lost 4 and drew 1. And if you look at it, before COVID he was sat 30-0 looking invincible. You know, he'd beat Selby for the world title, first defence Carl Frampton, which nobody else would have done. Then he had to fight Kid Galahad. He beat Kid Galahad. Then he had a great win against Tahooch with an early stoppage, and he was absolutely flying. And then COVID hit, and COVID is one of the reasons why I think his career suffered. And you know, he had an unforced layoff through the COVID, and then we should have been fighting Kanzu for a unification. Eddie Hearn had promised that, but Kid Galahad didn't give up the position he was in to allow for the Kanzu fight, even though it had been a promise to Eddie. So we just felt let down that we didn't get what we was told we was going to get, and maybe that's no one's fault. But to fight, we got a last-minute replacement in Lara, who was a puncher, but you know, no worries about Josh's chin. But I think A, we took it lightly. B, nobody knows this because we didn't want to make any excuses at the time. Josh had just come over COVID. Nobody knew much about COVID then, and you know, we thought he was over it, but obviously there's long COVID, and I think even now, 4 years on, nobody knows really much about COVID. But you know, he'd had it, and in hindsight, if he wouldn't have been desperate to fight, we probably wouldn't have fought then. But anyway, that was his first loss, and then straight away again go for the rematch with somebody who's changed. Not many would have done it. We did that, and then we had, you know, the unfortunate clashes, and he got a draw when we was hoping to get a win and get that out of the way. And then if you look at it, and I've got to take the blame as a manager for allowing the promotional company to happen, but it's probably been one of the worst promoted world champion ticket sellers in the history of boxing. You know, he should have been fighting minimum 2 times a year, but he ended up fighting once a year. And if you look at the last 3 losses, he could have won them. Lopez, we thought he'd done enough to come back. He started off slowly, bit tentative because he's coming off a broken jaw against Kiko Martinez. Thought he'd come back against Lopez to win certainly the last 6 rounds, which at worst was a draw. At home was thinking, yeah, we'd be okay, but he lost that. Another 10-month break before he fought Lee Wood. He was winning probably 6 out of the 7 rounds till he had a point took off him, which made him chase a fight, and he was undisciplined and got caught and stopped. So again, the inactivity's not helped him there, and he could have won that. Kakachi, he's moved up to super featherweight, 11-month break, and you know the inactivity shown. And, you know, so at the moment, as I say, 31 before losses, with the right promotional push. Bearing in mind, he's a massive ticket seller at home. And as I say, I'm taking some blame here because my dealings with Matchroom at the time was, yeah, it's going to happen next month. We'll let you know next month. And, you know, me and Josh, we go to meetings and it's going to be next month. Oh, it's not now. And you just dragged on. And, you know, I've got to be so careful, don't let that go again, because as I'm saying, I'd like to be sat in the position now where Josh Warrington's 36, 38 and 0, and we can say, right, we're going to go out as a legend of British boxing, and not saying up there with Calzaghe, but one of the undefeated world champions from Britain. And so, yeah, he's still had a fantastic career, but could have been a lot better. So we'll see what happens with Josh. He's having a think about his position at the moment, but whatever he decides to do, you know, he's done so much for Northwest boxing and certainly for VIP. You know, it's been an honour working with him, and we're certainly going to be working with him as we all move forward in the capacity of him managing and promoting fighters and maybe even training ones. But we'll see what happens. But he's had a great career. But what I was saying there is, if it was handled a bit better, I think I've done a great manager's job with him, but I'd like to think that I should have maybe pushed a bit more on the promotional side and made sure he was active, because there's a big difference between fighting regular and not, which we've seen in the build-up to becoming a world champion. He was fighting regular, and he was unbeatable. The performances against Frampton and Selby, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic, underdog in both fights and won them clearly.
Now he's
so
not
that's
stable,
him gone. Yeah, and his stablemate Reece Mould again. I think he's 18-2. His 2 losses. Lee Wood, which was a great fight. Nothing in it. He hurt Lee, and then Lee come back to get a late stoppage with him there, and then only the end of last year, I think it was, he lost to Gary Cully in a fight that 90% of the public thought he won. Wants a rematch, but they won't entertain it. The proof's in the pudding who won that fight when they won't have it. And then obviously this Friday night in Sheffield, he's got a tough task with Ryan Walsh, you know. So Ryan's been inactive, he's 38, so he really should be in Reece's favour. I mean, Reece has gone on to say he's going to knock him out, but he's never been stopped in 34 fights, so that's a big ask. But he's a warrior himself, isn't he, Ryan Walsh? Look at who he's fought, unbelievable.
Well, he's only been beat by world champions and a European champion.
Yeah, and you know, he's had some good wins on his belt as well. I had eyes at lows with him when he was coming through, and they had a draw.
Yeah. Did he have 7 defences of that British title, I think? Yeah. Listen, great fighter. Friday night's going to be a great fight, but I'm expecting Reece Mould to be too fresh for him.
For all boxing info, news, and latest interviews, amateur and pro across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.